I grabbed my chest, gagging, gasping for breath, my mind scattered. How am I alive? I thought. I looked down at my chest where a knife was struck deep with dry blood all over my clothes and hands. I sat up. I wasn't feeling the pain of the sharp knife. In fact, that whole area felt sore. There was no pain. Nothing. I grabbed the knife in my chest, then began to twist and turn it until it came out, covered in blood. I put the knife down by my side, then put my hand over my heart to feel it pump. I looked up. I was still in the forest behind some bushes. The sun was nearly ready to replace the moon, though the moon still had the spotlight. How long has it been? A small breeze started blowing my hair around. I looked back down at the bloody knife. She's trying to replace me. A sudden feeling of absolute hate came over me. Some bitches deserve karma. I stood up, embracing the wind. Before walking away, I picked up the knife, wiping off my blood on my hoodie. I think the twisted things you thought, and this time I'm the predator and you're the prey. I smiled. Slowly, the humanity drained out of me, leaving an empty, vengeful, angry body. I began dashing back through the trees, awaiting to see my house and to see her in my bed, sleeping helplessly and unprotected. I ran, watching people walk in and out of buildings, all looking exhausted from waking up. Such easy targets, yet I'm after one very soul that has stolen my life, body, and place and time. Time. What a thing. I have minutes, hours of it. It never ends until we end. Sometimes it takes years, though. What am I thinking? What am I doing? Am I going to kill her? She deserves it. She killed me. Yet I'm still here. I have to. I continued running out of town, nearly a few minutes from the neighborhood. I know what to do, and I know how to do it. Is this even a choice? I ran faster and faster until I entered the neighborhood. Then I began to slow down. This isn't any dream. It's a nightmare that no mortal would ever wake up sane. The sunrise was barely in sight as I paced down the sidewalk. Trees spread throughout the neighborhood, trying to block the smallest amount of light from reaching me. I wasn't focused on that, however, as I was trying to find my house, though I began to panic as I didn't quite know where it was for where I stood. After a while, my anger got the best of me and I began running. Then again, why was I rushing? I need to cool it. Ugh, why? She's replacing me! She will get what she deserves. Calm down. I will kill the helpless creature. Through the rest of the trees, I finally spotted my house. Smiling, I ran towards it, never running out of breath, feeling more alive than ever before. Without thought, I reached my hand through the broken window at the back door and unlocked it. Well, I guess I should make my entrance known, I said quietly, walking into the house, closing the door behind me. The place was still a mess. Clearly, she wasn't big on cleaning up after herself. I kicked some things around as I walked to the stairs. I figured my evil twin never chose to wake up, which would make my job easier. She doesn't belong here. She doesn't need to be here, I thought, running up the stairs. I couldn't see Lefty or Helpy anywhere, so hopefully they weren't here. I couldn't allow them to see such tragic events, of course, since I would be the reason for what was to come. I opened my bedroom door before entering. I peeked around, then made my way inside the room, pulling the knife out of my pocket. Nobody. Strange. I remember. Wait. I turned around as I got pushed to the ground. Then she wrapped her arm around my neck, holding a knife up to it. How are you alive? You should be dead, she said, almost amazed of herself. I saw a wrap around her chest with blood nearly bleeding through. How are you? I mean, clearly a stabbing in my chest hurt you. Never mind, I'll just kill you again, she smiled wickedly. She hasn't changed a bit, unlike me. My feelings towards her are deadly. She was about to make another move, but I quickly grabbed her arm and twisted it around and pulled her down to the side of me. As I held her down, putting my knife up to her throat, she looked up at me, eyes wide and teary. Why was she upset? She tried to replace me. Now you must feel my pain, don't you? At least I don't feel yours. I laughed. She didn't move. She didn't even struggle. Please, if you kill me, this cycle will never end. I just want to see tomorrow. I haven't seen tomorrow for so long. Her voice cracked like she was holding something back. I looked at her and gently smiled. Of course, now I look like the crazy one. I knew her plan, but I wasn't walking into her trap. As I expected, she grabbed my hand with the knife and threw me over her. I hit the wall. I got lightheaded and my body began to ache, but I got back up and regained my balance. She bolted towards me holding her knife. I moved just in time. I even stuck my leg out in front of her and tripped her. She fell but sprang back up. You thought I would give up? No, never. I'm here to kill you again and again until I see tomorrow, she screamed, blasting my eardrums. She ran towards me again and this time continued, even after my dodges. Just die! Why are you making this so hard? She grinded her teeth. You have to understand that I am not going to give you a free hit, I smiled grimly, still moving left to right. She stopped for the first time, acting a little more humane as she tried to catch her breath. Please, I can't do this again. I'm almost there, she smiled, looking out the window as the sun rose. Of course you must not understand what it means to lose your mind by replaying the same old week, or even what it feels like to kill someone. You're only filled with rage. Her voice got madder, whether from insanity or anger was anyone's guess, but I took her words to thought because she was somewhat right. I don't think I'm insane, plus I've never been stuck in a cycle or replaying event, whatever she thinks that means. And I've never killed someone before. I don't know if I'm supposed to be satisfied or just cry. I only feel rage as well. She was right, but I can't let that hold me back. As I looked back at her, she had already started dashing at me again. This wasn't going to end unless I did something different. I dodged again, grabbing her by her hood and yanked her back to the ground. You're right, I haven't killed anyone before, and I know you're quite experienced, but my rage always leads me to victory, so I'm sure you'll perish. I smiled, stepping on her chest. You weak, helpless girl, get off me! I come back and I'll kill you, she screamed, but her face turned terrified and her body shaked. I stepped directly on her wound and put pressure on it. She stared at my lifeless eyes and my perfect smile, and she froze. She didn't have anything to save her. My rage wasn't going anywhere besides building up. If you kill me, then you're no different compared to me. I stopped moving my foot and looked down at her. My smile wiped away. That's not true. You may look like me, but in no way are we alike. You're f***ing crazy. And you've killed so many people, specifically versions of people we know. You're right, and I felt nothing. But you killing me will only repeat the cycle. I rolled my eyes, stomping on her chest. She gagged, holding back a scream. I knelt down beside her as she held her chest, rolling back and forth. She dropped her sarcasm or smart-ass look. She didn't even smile wickedly. For once, I think she was actually scared. I grew even more ruthless as I whispered, have fun running around in your insanity. I plunged my knife in her neck. Her scream stopped as soon as it started. As she started spraying blood, her eyes rolled black, tears rolling down her cheeks. You fucking prick, I whispered. I continued stabbing her throughout the sides, chest, and stomach. I cut a thick line around her neck. Blood was everywhere, on me, her, the wall, and floor. Well, at least I know she's human. I stood up laughing, then I walked to the bathroom, rinsing my knife and hands off. I looked up into the mirror. My smile was nearly ripping my lips apart. My hoodie and pants were ripped everywhere, covered in dirt and blood. There was still a huge stain of blood from my stab wound in my chest, yet I didn't feel a thing. My rage had died down, and I was gleaming with joy. She's gone. She's dead. I killed her. And I feel no doubt for such a thing. I grabbed a clean t-shirt and leggings. I put the clothes on, throwing the bloody clothes away under a bunch of trash. I also wrapped cloth around my wound, hoping the blood had stopped. It had. Later that day, I started digging a hole outside in the bright sunlight for my counterpart to rest in. I finished covering her lifeless body of dirt. I threw my knife in a lake near my house and then fell in the clear. Okay, I think I'm done for the day. There's no more her. And now I can act like this was just a nightmare or something. I smiled to myself. No more her, I thought again. That followed me all the way to bed as I said goodnight to Helpy and Lefty. Then I fell asleep. Something weird happened though when I so-called fell asleep because I didn't feel right. I opened my eyes to see two cold, empty, vengeful, insane eyes staring back at me. You're stuck with me forever now. Wait, what? I don't understand. I mean, I couldn't speak, at least for long. She crawled on top of me, nearly mimicking a spider as she screamed. It was everything was black and my head was aching and pounding. I felt unaware and confused of what had just happened. The sunrise was barely in sight as I paced on the sidewalk. Trees spread throughout the neighborhood.